Hello, Home Slices. It is Kiera with Home Slice Adulting coming to you once again in sleepover fashion for my review for this week's episode of Braxton Family Values, which is titled Law and Order. It's season 6, episode number 4. I will say that this episode was a little bit more entertaining than last week's episode, and the drama is about to be compounded by what we found out on this episode. But let's just go through the episode and talk about it. First off, there was something that I don't recall them showing that Mama Evelyn said during her talk with Trina, where she broke down last week. Mama Evelyn said that she did the TMZ thing out of desperation because she couldn't do anything about it. Could it be said that Mama Evelyn is experiencing what she feels is a loss of control? So she told the press about Vince hitting Tamar. Because Mama Evelyn comes off to me as a woman who very much needs to be in control of things. And the fact that she doesn't have the ability to help Tamar get out of this situation, and Tamar has to do it for herself. She just feels like she's at a loss and didn't really know what to do. It's possible. Hello to whoever you are watching. Thank you. But we have Trina and Towanda, and they're together. And Trina is telling Towanda all the things that happened at the coffee shop about their mama breaking down. And they called their mama an autumn chicken as opposed to a spring chicken that doesn't need any extra stress. They want to do something nice for her, take her to get her nails done or whatever. And Towanda said that she's going to visit their family lawyer, Antavius, to see if they can sue another family member. At this point, we don't know who that is. So moving on, we see Tracy, Kevin Jr., Kevin Sr., and Olivia. They're doing a baby boot camp, which is supposed to be a wake-up call for them. So Olivia doesn't remember to take her prenatal vitamins. Now, me, I am not a pill taker. I'm not one who remembers to take pills, and that's okay. But in this day and age of technology, it's like super easy for you to set a reminder on your phone for you to take your prenatal vitamins. So it's basically no excuse in my eyes. But moving on, little Kevin doesn't know how to change a diaper, and he's trying to negotiate so that he only has to change the pee-pee diapers and not the poopy diapers. And that's not the way that it works, okay? See, him just being like that, it just tells me that neither one of them really has the maturity for what's about to happen with these children, even though what's about to happen with them bringing a baby into the world. Even though they are not teenagers, they still don't have the amount of emotional intelligence or life experience that it takes to fully take responsibility for the life of another human being. And that's why it's really important for people to grow up and mature before they have children, because the younger you are, the less you have to give to your child. And the more life experience that you have, the more maturity that you have, are the things that can be passed down to your child, as opposed to you and your child learning them at the same time. But moving on, the lady that they're talking to brings in a real care baby. If y'all remember, they neglected the last real care baby that they had. But the stakes are higher, so hopefully they'll take it a little bit more seriously. Kevin gets the baby and is already trying to hand the baby over to Tracy. And in their confessional, the baby is crying. I thought that was funny. And they're just really not ready. Like, it's good that they're not teenagers, but they're still not ready. Moving on. So next we see Mama Evelyn, Towanda, and Trina. They were getting pedicures. I hate the chairs that they are sitting in. I prefer the chairs that are at like the Asian nail places that like they can scoot forward and move back, and they're massage chairs. Those chairs feel great. I love sitting on those chairs when I'm getting a pedicure. But moving on, Andre called Towanda to say that their daughter was being bullied at school. And I was bullied at school back in elementary school before I learned how to figure out my defense mechanism. So in elementary school, I was bullied a lot. But when I got to middle school, I learned that you can use your personality and your humor to kind of back people off of you. So after I went to middle school, bullying wasn't really an issue for me anymore. So, but anyways, there are some people who I'm guessing that Brooke is at an age where she's taller than all the boys in her class. And one little boy punched her, and Towanda feels like there's not enough being done about bullying. And I don't even know what to say. Because as a person who has been bullied, I know that it sucks. Um, and as a child, like the only thing you want to do is fit in. I just feel really bad for Brooke. I feel really bad about the situation. And I think that there are people out there that feel like bullying has its place because people who are bullied overcome those things to become great people, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they kill themselves and they don't become great people, and they hurt the people that they hurt the people that love them because they're no longer on this earth. So what's the happy medium? Nobody gets bullied and people go throughout their lives being people, right? I just feel like there needs to be some type of something that gets rid of bullying. And the fact that schools are not taking initiative in stopping bullying from happening, because clearly that's the way Towanda feels. Towanda is thinking about taking this up the ladder and getting the superintendent involved, maybe even the police, because somebody punching her daughter is assault. So anyways, Andre and Towanda were doing fine in their divorce until somebody called Andre with information on who Towanda was dating. And that annoys me. I don't understand why these women have such unhealthy relationships with their ex-husbands. And it's like, when people get divorced, it's understandable that they're not going to like each other. It's understandable that there's going to be some tension there. They have to co-parent. So for the most part, they have to build a bridge and get over it. However, the fact that Trina Braxton had a Iyanla Fix My Life based on her unhealthy relationship with her ex-husband and him moving into her house, and the fact that Andre and Towanda have been divorced for maybe a year now, and they are still living together in the same house. How unhealthy is that? So he finds out that she is dating somebody, and he posts this ridiculous post on Instagram, saying that, you know, when your girl ain't that girl, when you think that your girl ain't that girl and she turns out to be that girl, and beware of thoughts. And it's like, what the heck are you talking about? Y'all are divorced. You are divorced. You were a terrible husband to her. She divorced you and she has moved on with her life. What she needs to do to really move on with her life is to kick you out of the house so that you can go find your own place and y'all can transport the kids back and forth. Okay? It's better to have the headache of transporting the kids back and forth than to deal with you acting a fool in my house. There's no way that he would write anything about me on the internet and be at my house. Just FYI. But Towanda still won't tell everybody who she's dating. But that little stuff with Andre just got on my nerves. I hate when men act like that. Just so nasty. They claim to be men. They can't claim to be manly. But when it comes to expressing their emotions, they just come off really like, it just comes off really stupid. Y'all aren't together anymore. So why would you try to tarnish your wife's name, or your ex-wife's name, on a public platform? That just doesn't make sense. It's not a healthy way to express your emotions. Maybe you should talk to Towanda first and tell her, you know, I know we're divorced, but I'm not really over you. It bothers me that you're seeing somebody that we know told me that you're out on dates and we're still living in the same house. It just bothers me a little bit. And that's all you had to say. But he took it to a level of like pettiness that just irks me. I really don't like Andre. Ugh. Moving on, we see Tracy and little Kevin going shopping. He's holding the baby like a football. No car seat. She's asking him about school and his career and if he's gonna put it on the back burner like she had to do. Um, Tracy says that her story is a little bit different because she was older than Kevin and she had experienced life and she had a few boyfriends before she had a baby. But Olivia comes in and Kevin has no baby supplies. The baby ain't got no bottles. So the baby starts crying. They don't have a baby bag, nothing. So these people really are not ready to have a kid. The clothes are expensive. And Kevin is like, oh, I can buy a game for this. And no, you can't. Not when you have a baby. Oh, it's I don't think it's necessarily about being selfish. I think that they need to really quickly make the transition of it being all about them versus the needs of the baby having to come first. Um, but yeah, they're kids. Moving on, we see Toni, Trina, Towanda, and Mama Evelyn doing arts and crafts and making their own jewelry, which I think is like super cool. But Towanda says that she went to see Antavius and she has decided to sue Vince. And when she said Vince, I was like, oh, no way. I was very surprised. This is the first time in a long time that we have had any news on Braxton Family Values that actually shocked me. So, I definitely was not expecting that. And I don't think that this could come at a worse time. I feel like it's going to make things so much more worse and more complicated with Tamar. And now I kind of see why Tamar isn't doing any promo for the show, considering how this whole suing thing came out on camera and it's going to make Vince look bad. But moving on, Antavius did some digging, and according to his research, they say that Tamar wrote the song and is the only singer on the song, and it is completely owned by Tamar and Vince. Now, Towanda claims that she and Tracy helped to co-write and sing the song, and they were never paid for it. We all know that you can hear each lady's voice on the song, the harmonies that they're doing together and all that kind of stuff. We all know that Tamar is not the only singer on that song. So the fact that the sisters never were compensated for it is bad. So here's the issue that I have. If they sue Vincent for the rights to the song, I feel like they're suing Tamar as well, because Antavius said that both Vince and Tamar own the song. So that's an issue. I think, and then there's the issue of how long they've waited to sue. It's been 6 seasons, so that's about 6 years that these ladies have been on this show. They have always had the same theme song, and now, 6 years later, they're trying to do a lawsuit. It's very reminiscent of when Candy tried to sue Kim over the tardy for the party type of thing. I'm not sure that they will win the case. And then on top of that, I'm definitely sure that it's going to like destroy the family relationship. In my eyes, I really think that it's bad timing, and that they should at least wait until Vince and Tamar are fully divorced, or they can ask Tamar to ask for the rights to the song from Vince in the divorce. I think there's a lot of different ways that they can deal with it. But I'm with Trina in saying that everything is moving too fast. But from the sounds of it, they will give Vince the courtesy of having a conversation with him before pursuing legal action. So we'll see how that goes. Now, moving on, Tracy wants her money. However, she does know that this can negatively impact the sisterhood. I just think the timing is all off. What prompted Towanda to tell Antavius to look into the ownership of their theme song? I don't understand that. Something about that is very off to me, that they're just now looking into that. But moving on, Toni says that an artist has the right to be compensated for the work they do. And this is interesting for 2 different reasons. Now, the first reason is that Toni went through something similar with her record label when they gypped her out of her money and she had to take them to court about it. For those of you who do not know, Toni did not receive all of the money she was entitled to because they had some contract situation things going on. The contract that she signed, meant that she didn't get as much money as she should have gotten. She took them to court and won a $20 million suit. And then the label was mad at her, so they really didn't do promo for her next album. It was a whole big mess. But anyways, the second reason that is interesting is that the man she is engaged to allegedly owes Lil Wayne like $50 million. I feel like they backed her into a corner on that one. The fact that she is in love with and is engaged to somebody who owes an artist an exorbitant amount of money is very telling. Just saying. But moving on, Toni says she doesn't want to be in it, and now she doesn't want to make her announcement because they kind of killed her vibe, you know, with all the lawsuit talk. And Toni brings up the timing issue. I just think that the whole situation can wait. Now, moving on, Mama Evelyn, Towanda, and Tracy are at a coffee shop. They're reassuring Tracy that, you know, everything's going to be fine. The kids are not teenagers. And I think that they are I'm sorry. I think that Towanda and Mama Evelyn are overestimating the maturity of Olivia and Kevin, considering what we saw on the camera. But I do think that they can work through it and that they'll be fine. They're making her feel good about becoming a grandmother. And Tracy is crazy, talking about new babies smell like new coochie. Really, Tracy? She was just saying some crazy stuff. But she said that she's going to make them move out after the baby is 6 months old. And Mama Evelyn thinks that Tracy is going to change her mind. What she experiences being a grandmother, she's not going to want to be separated from the baby. But we'll definitely see. Now, Toni, we see her, you know, on FaceTime with her dad, scratching her face with her left hand to see the ring. And she reveals that she is indeed engaged to Struggle Face Brian, a.k.a. Baby, a.k.a. Birdman. And Daddy Braxton wants to have a daddy-daughter talk, and I think that's nice or whatever. And so Mama Evelyn already knew about the engagement, and she claimed that she wanted to tell it, but we know how she is. Considering how she did tell the press that Vince was beating Tamar, I feel like that was not an appropriate statement, but okay. So here's what am I trying to say? Okay. So for those of you who have not watched my previous reviews of Braxton Family Values, I do not like Birdman and Toni together. I feel like they're totally mismatched. I feel like they're two people with financial problems that should not get together. I feel like, to a certain extent, that Birdman being with Toni Braxton is kind of a status symbol for Birdman because Toni is so beautiful and desirable and was like, you know, popping in the 90s and just a little bit, just my thoughts. But anyways, the way that Toni described the way that they got engaged was totally not romantic. And I didn't understand why Toni thought it was romantic. And Mama Evelyn agreed with that. But the situation was he didn't get on one knee. She talked about them being in Vegas at her favorite restaurant. So that was nice. And then she talked about them being late and not having the appropriate table. They moved tables 3 times. And then she was in a $20 dress and he wanted to elope. Nothing about that sounds romantic to me. I feel like Toni deserves better. But whatever, if she likes it, they love it. The baby apparently talked to her children, and one of her children, Diesel, was not thrilled about him asking, you know, his mom to marry him. And I was like, I know I like Diesel. You know, me and Diesel on the same page. But moving on, we have a little snippet with Tracy and her clan at the childbirth educators, and the lady that's there tells them that to soften her cervix before childbirth, they need to have a lot of sex. And Tracy and Big Kevin did not like that. And little Kevin says, lay it low and spread it wide. That was so funny to me. A lot of the exercises were very sensual. And it's like, maybe Tracy and Big Kevin don't need to be there because I definitely wouldn't want to see that. But next we see the ladies at the winery. And yeah, what is with Trina's confessional look in like the white bathrobe. That's hideous. I don't know what she was doing. She must have ran out of clothes and just put on a robe that a hotel provided her with or something. I don't know. But Toni is stringing the girls along. They think that she's going to announce her engagement, but she asks for help with Denham's 16th birthday party. And all the ladies are very disappointed, but Toni didn't want to make the announcement without Tamar, so I get it. And the fact that Tamar always feels left out lends itself to the fact that she needs to be there. So I think Toni did the right thing by not telling them there. Excuse me, and by waiting for Tamar. But it wasn't nice of her to string them along like that and play with their emotions. But Toni wants to have her son's birthday party at Tamar's house. And I'm like, well, Tamar lives in an apartment now, so she has no backyard. And so the other ladies are like, well, that's Vince's house. And we'll help you plan it, but we're not coming. And I'm like, this makes the whole situation very sticky. I don't understand why Toni would do that. I guess she considers it to be a free venue. But I'm sure that Toni could have it somewhere and pay for it. And not put the family in a sticky situation to where like none of them show up to their nephew's birthday party. I just think that's very weird. And I feel like things are getting stickier, like even stickier than they're supposed to be. Tamar's getting a divorce from Vince, who has been a part of the family for 10 or so years now. And then you are suing Vince, and then you're having a birthday party at Vince's house. Their lives are too intertwined, and I think they need to do some separation. But moving on, next time on Braxton Family Values, Toni finally makes the announcement, and there's some fighting going on around Toni's wedding because Tamar doesn't want to share the responsibility of planning the wedding. I don't think it's wise to let somebody who's currently going through a divorce to plan your wedding. Their emotions are all over the place. It's going to make them very difficult to work with. And in addition, it's Tamar. She's already difficult. Add the emotional stress of a divorce on top of that. It just doesn't really work out that way. So thank you guys for watching. This has been my review of Braxton Family Values. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.